This is EbonyMan 2K, content creator of Everybody Loves Strong Mama Chrissy and Son Saray. I would like to thank you for sharing your time with me today. Shout out to all my chat room members and listeners who may be listening in your car, in the kitchen cooking, working out, or just listening while you work. Your time is greatly appreciated. Make sure you hit thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and set it to all. Again, I thank you, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. I say whoop. I say whoop, whoop, whoop. I say Jerome's in the house, so watch your mouth. This is EbonyMan 2K, man. Host of the channel with the same name and content creator of the show Everybody Loves Strong Mama Chrissy and Everybody Loves the Mamiana Game, both located under my playlist from the homepage. You know, I was watching Martin the other day, and I was being entertained by his character Romy Rome, and I was impressed by Jerome's ability to make an intro. So I thought I would do a little rendition of him in my video today, just to switch it up a little bit. By the way, I was just thinking about the show Martin and how I personally consider it to be a classic today. Now, my favorite sitcom is obviously Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son's narratives, writing, jokes, and timing are just unmatched. I mean, I can watch a Sanford and Son show for 50-11 times, and every time will feel like the first. So my question that I pose for you today, is the show Martin a classic at the same level of Sanford and Son? Is the show Martin a classic at the same level of a Sanford and Son? This is my questions for you today, just for shits and giggles. So please leave your comment in the comment section and the chat room, please. All right. Now, let's get to what we came here for today. It's been busy in these YouTube streets, especially for Olivia, who seems to be catching one L after another, after another, after another, after another. In the words of my old pops when he's watching a disappointing football game, man, that joker can't win for losing. Do y'all realize that in a very short span of time, Olivia has lost her man, lost a home, lost a diss track battle, lost her mind, and now I suspect she done lost 13 grand. That's right. She done lost 13 large, baby. I have additional information that I will present to you today that backs that claim. Now, before we get to that, we will first review a couple items that I've presented before for those who are just coming into the fold and to help me build up my case in totality. We will take a virtual road trip to the property and give it a good look and examination. We will then hear from Olivia as she doubles down on her lie of home ownership. And then I will review my past receipts and present the most current one for my grand closing. All right. This is EbonyMan 2K. Let's get it.
It's your girl Liv. Oh, sorry. It's your girl Liv. How y'all doing, y'all? How y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful day? Oh my gosh, it is so pretty outside. The birds are chirping. The sun is booming, baby. Okay, the skin is glowing. Do you hear me? I'm driving to go get my kids from school right now, my babies. And I just wanted to have a talk with you guys. Like, I wanted to talk with you guys because there's a lot of BS forming my name, and people just want to think whatever the hell they want to think. Girl, do you, be you, love you, okay? At the end of the day, I'm Olivia, and I will always have the last word, okay? And that's just on period, baby. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty, honey. Okay, so people think that I'm living with my sister. That is the thing. People think I'm homeless. I'm living with my sister. And I guess I will come and I will address that in today's video. But first, I want to ask you guys, how are you guys doing? People think that I don't treat my subscribers well. I love my subscribers.
All you need to launch a culinary empire. A Squarespace web.
Haters can kiss my ass all day long. But you guys already know I love you guys. My loyalty gang, I love y'all. I just don't like disrespectful stuff. Remember, hit the like button for your girl. I don't do this for nothing. I do this for y'all. And yeah, I deserve the like button. And y'all deserve to not be cussed out in every video. You do not deserve to be cussed out in every video. So, honestly, guys, if I have cussed you out or any of my subscribers feel offended by my recent actions here on YouTube, I am sorry, guys. I don't mean to come off like that. But you have to understand, I deal with so much hate. When I'm down, people just get so happy and they just like, they're just so happy when Olivia has a moment of what do we call it? Because it's not failure, and it's nothing like you know what. But basically, I've had some hard time over here because I just got out of a relationship with a man that I was very much in love with, and it was hard for me. It's been hard for me, but I'm getting better. Everything is getting better. But I gotta say, I love my subscribers. I love you guys, and please don't let nobody tell you different. Okay. Am I homeless? That is the question at hand. Olivia, what's going on with your house? A couple days ago, I had moved out of my house. Actually, here now, it's been like a week or so. It's been maybe 2 weeks. It's been a while since I moved out of my house, baby. But am I homeless? That's what everybody wants to know. Am I homeless? People, y'all just be taking it so far. Baby, somebody called me a hobo. We're hobos. We're homeless. Oh my gosh. Y'all just be going so far with it. I'm here to tell you, no, I'm not homeless. I'm not homeless. I actually... My channel is really about to switch up. My channel for real. I know I look a hot ass mess right now. Please don't mistake that for weakness, okay? I just look a hot mess. I don't have time to just plather on a whole bunch of makeup and lashes just so I can come on here and talk to you guys. It's not that deep for me. I can talk to you guys however I look. You feel me? But let me tell you this. Olivia will never be down back. You feel me? Because I'm not that type of female to let myself get to that point. People are wondering, do I have evictions?
We all love to make those dishes that make people happy. Tonight we're making some bacon wrap.
Don't have evictions. Sorry, still not in that category. Try again. I do not have no evictions. My credit is still blossoming like a beautiful flower. And let me see what else I can give you guys an update on. Because after these last couple updates, y'all, I'm not telling you about my life. I'm actually about to open up my members only, and you guys can subscribe to my members only, my A1 Day ones, my loyalty gang. That's for y'all. I made that place for y'all because I do still want to tell you guys certain things. I'm gonna have Q&As coming up. I'm gonna have maybe the video about my house come up here shortly, and that's only gonna be for my members only. So you guys can subscribe subscribe to my members only. I don't know how you do it. I'm still trying to figure it out. But anyway, Olivia is Gucci. I'm straight. But once again, y'all got the wrong one. Try again. And let me see what else. We're just about to have a lot of exciting things because I keep saying this. I'm single. I'm free. I can do what I want. I'm a mother of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you know, I love my babies, and we're gonna travel, and we're gonna see things, and you know, my kids always come first with me. So it's always my babies first. So I want them to be happy, and that's number 1 to me. So I'm gonna put myself in the position to make them the happiest they could ever be. So with that being said, no, I'm not living with my sister. I didn't get an Airbnb, okay? Because who is going to spend all that money? If y'all know anything about me, you guys already should know. I know how to spend my money and how not to spend my money, okay? Sis is not out here. I ain't finna spend all my money. So I actually have family that loves me. You feel me? My sister loves me to death. And my sister let me stay at her house for however long I want to stay at her house for. So, homeless? Nah. I'm actually about to go pull up on my house right now, check on a few things. It's like, y'all don't understand what's going on. And the fact that people can actually sit up there and call me a liar, say all these vicious, mean things to me, all because I moved out of a house. That's why you guys think you have the right to talk to me like I'm a dog on the street. Because I moved out of a house. Oh my God. It's crazy. This YouTube thing is crazy. But like I said before, y'all thought you had something, I guess, finding my property on Zillow. Girl, you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing. So stop. This is fun, isn't it? Like, just stop while you're ahead. All these reactors. Y'all chill the fuck out. Like, it's not that serious. Your girl is business minded, okay? So if I move out of my house, it's not like, oh my gosh, she got evicted. I'm not the one. I'm not that bitch, okay? So no, I didn't get evicted. I can't get evicted from something I own. But as far as the house goes and everything, I'm not speaking on that right now because y'all already are trying to be into my business too much. With finding the property, posting the property online. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? I don't know. I guess you thought, once again, you thought you were proving something, but you're not proving anything other than we're trying to rent it out or rent to own it. You can take it off my hands, baby. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Like I said before, hit up my real estate agent. Hit him up. You feel me? But you need to come ready. Don't come with that BS. Come ready with the money. You feel me? Come ready trying to really rent something if you guys are in the Florida area. Now, with that being said, I love y'all so much. Like I said, I have a lot of plans today. I'm about to get my babies. And I'll see you guys on the next clip.
Okay, on the screen now is a description of Olivia's old rental property that she had in Clearwater, Florida. The rental listing amount is $1,995 a month, and it's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath at 1,300 square feet. The program she was in was a lease to own. The program allows a home buyer up to 36 months to qualify for a loan. All the while, they get to live in the home, and it is 100% of the down payment goes toward the purchase price. The monthly payment actually includes insurance, property tax, and homeowners association payments too. It is fully renovated, featuring a modern open floor plan and large pool calling your name. Upgrades include a new roof, Whirlpool stainless steel appliances paired with new cabinets and gorgeous granite. Okay, now we're going to look at the source from Zillow.com. If you look at the top of the page, that is that address of question on Owen Drive in Clearwater, Florida. Now, Zillow has very valuable information. One of it is price history. A lot of people have not noticed that. But for every property that they have listed, they show a price history of events of that property whether it be sold or rented. Okay, so let's go to price history that you see on the screen. But we're going to start from the bottom, from February 25th, and work our way up to present day to show all transactions that has been on this property since the February 2020 of this year. Now, it says on public record, right, that this property was sold on February the 25th, 2020. It was sold. Now remember that date because we're going to come back to it later. Then later on in April, it was listed for sale and was listed on in April and May, but no one bought it. And then the listing for sale was removed on May the 29th. Okay, so since they couldn't sell it, then in June 19th, 2020, they listed it for rent. And then in July 10th, it was removed. The reason why it was removed, because someone rented it. And that was Livia. It does not say sold. It says listing, remove, rent, and it was rented for that time. The only owner of this home for the entire year of 2020 was the person that bought it on February 25th, and that was not Olivia. She picked it up on July 10th as a renter at the rate of $19.95 per month. And then it even shows even more current date where it's listed again. She has moved out. She moved out around September 15th or so. Well, probably a little bit earlier because it was actually listed for rent on the 15th. So she probably moved out near probably the first of the month. So as you can see, this is a detailed listing, if you will, of the price history of this property for the most part of 2020. There is no listing or documentation that Olivia gained any type of ownership. The only ownership the only sole listing that it has was on February the 25th, 2020, at the very beginning of the year. And then from that point going forward, it was all rental, all rental, all rental. Olivia picked it up in July and she left it in September. Now, I say remember this February 25th date because we're going to come back to it a little bit later. Okay, guys, remember I told you, remember that February date 2020? And when it said that that was the only date of sale for the year of 2020? Okay, well, here's the documentation for that. This is the warranty that was executed on the 21st of February 2020 from Wanda Weddington, who was the owner at the time, to a company. And that company is called Bay Capital Holdings, LLC. They are the ones that bought that house from the individual on February 2020. And they bought it for $179,000. Again, the owner of that house right now that bought it on February 2020 is Bay Capital Holdings, LLC. It is not Olivia. Okay? They bought it in February and was owning it for the rest of the year. And then later on that year, around May or so, they put it up for rent. And later on in the summer is when Olivia picked it up as a renter. She came in as a renter. She left as a renter. There was no sales transaction between Bay Capital Holdings, LLC, that bought it in February 2020 to Olivia. There's no sales transaction. No ma'am, no sir. The only thing Bay Capital Holdings offered to Olivia was a rental agreement. Now, it may have been some mix of rental or rent to own, but at no point did Olivia have any ownership of that home. Now, I think what happened is she probably agreed to some type of rent to own with a down payment of $13,000. And I hope she got that $13,000 back. Because if not, then all they did was took her lunch money. They saw her coming down from Texas, down I-10, and said, yeah, we got us one. And I think her anxiety right now is that 13,000 may be tied up to some type of agreement that she had with these guys, and that's why she wants somebody to come in and buy the home that can break her out of this agreement that she has. I got a feeling she got 13,000 tied up, because it's my understanding that once you get into an agreement like that in terms of a rent to own, you got to go through some type of period where you got to be in good faith and trying to find some type of funding for the home. I think you have to be in good faith, go out to banks and try to see if they can approve you for a loan for the home. And I think she can't get it approved, and that 13,000 is being held up, and that's why she's stressing. So I'm hoping she got a way to get out of that agreement and get that 13,000, because that ain't nothing to brag about. I mean, she keep bragging about, well, I put 13,000 now. I put 13,000. Then you put $13,000 on something that you ain't got nothing to show for. You put $13,000 down on something that you can't even show for. You have absolutely no ownership of that home, none. And 13,000 is a lot of money. And here's the thing that I've learned about rent to own agreements, that they only look good on paper. I've owned a home for over some 20 years. I've been in a position where I've been a landlord and I've talked about rent to own before. They never come to fruition. They never come to. It all sounds good on paper. Because when you think about it, if a person does have 13,000, and if they can make $2,000 a month in a sort of payment, they would just go ahead and be a person that can buy a house. I mean, why would you agree to that? If you sitting really on 13 grand and you really can make $2,000 a month in a payment, then there's no need to be in a rent to own situation. You can just try to own. So listen, I don't know what she has done, but I'm telling you right now, she's a liar. She's a liar. She does not own no property nowhere in Florida, and she definitely don't own this one here in Clearwater with this address. Again, this property belongs to Bay Capital Holdings LLC, and they've been owning it since February 2020. Okay, so this is another piece of information from the Pinellas County Tax Assessor Office that supports what I just said, right? Now, this has been updated on September 26, 2020, which is just a couple days ago. So this is the most recent information on that property in Clearwater, Florida, where Olivia claims she owns that house, right? Okay, if you look at the top of the page on the right, you see that address on Owen Drive. On the left, tell me what you see as far as ownership. I tell you what you don't see. You don't see no Olivia somebody on there, do you? No, you do not. Again, the owner of that home as of September 26th is Bay Capital Holdings LLC, located in Tampa. That's their office. But they own that property on Owen Drive in Clearwater, Florida. And this matches up with that deed that you just saw earlier that was executed on February 2020. And it also coincides with Zillow.com, where it says it was sold in February 2020. So again, every piece of information I have provided you today matches up. And in closing, I want to be clear. In February 2020, this property on Owen Drive in Clearwater, Florida, was bought by Bay Capital Holdings LLC. Then it was listed for rent, and Olivia picked it up as a renter. And there is some ambiguity in terms of what type of rental agreement she had, because it could have included a rent to own, but she has never owned it. She has never owned it. So wherever 13,000 she put down, it has been for naught. She has nothing to show for it. And I think that's where the embarrassment really lies. Instead of just saying I might have blown 13,000, she's gonna say, no, I did use 13,000, but now I own the home. No, ma'am, no, sir. No, you do not. Because I got 3 pieces of information here from legitimate sources that say otherwise. Well, all right, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here's that candy, that Jolly Rancher. Here is that lick. What you see on screen now is a copy of a rent-to-own lease agreement as governed by the state of Florida. The specific lease agreement that Olivia signed should be almost identical to the one we see here on screen, in that both of them were written specifically with respect to the rules and laws of the state of Florida. Now, I have already read through this document, and it reads just like a typical rental agreement in the beginning, as it refers to the basics like the rent amount, the term of the agreement, the security deposit, etc. But the agreement ends with a section that covers the elements of the purchase option. That section is number 24, and we can start from there. So, pull up your screen on full view as we review together item number 24, points A, B, and C from this agreement. Okay, this is the option to purchase provisions, starting at number 24 from the rental agreement. And it reads as follows. Number 24, option agreement. Landlord grants to tenant an option to purchase the leased property herein on terms and conditions as follows. A, term of option. At any time during the lease term described in this agreement, tenant may elect to purchase the leased property, including the personal property located thereon. In the event tenant defaults in the terms and conditions of the agreement, including but not limited to non-payment of rent or other violation of the conditions of the lease portion of the agreement, the option to purchase shall automatically terminate without further notice from the landlord to the tenant. B, exercise of option. Tenant shall have the right to exercise this option only by delivering to the landlord a written notice of exercise of this option at any time during the lease term, unless sooner terminated as outlined therein. C, and this is probably the most important part of the whole thing. Okay, so let's look at this carefully. C, option payments and purchase price. As consideration for the granting of this option to purchase, the real estate tenant agrees to pay to landlord the amount sum and the execution of this agreement. The option payment in the amount of whatever they agreed to, out of which full rental paid by tenant shall be credited against the purchase price, hereinafter stated at the time of closing. Okay, the total purchase price, subject to any credit stated, is payable in cash or cashier's check, certified check on the date of the closing. This shall not prevent the tenant from seeking financing from any third party for part or all of the purchase price. However, the ability to obtain financing or the favorability of the terms thereof shall not be or create any contingency on the performance of the terms thereof by the tenant. Okay, the option amount in the amount of whatever they agreed to, given therein from tenant to landlord, is non-refundable to tenant. Let's read that one more time. The option payment in the amount agreed, given that herein from the tenant to the landlord, is non-refundable to the tenant. in all events except the failure on the part of the landlord or inability of the landlord to transfer the property to the tenant at closing, as further set forth in paragraph 24. No part of rental payment shall be refundable to tenant for any reason. I know this is a lot of legal verbiage, but this last part is very important, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of break it down what it's saying. It is saying that when you decide to go into this agreement, that amount, which for Olivia would have been $13,000, is non-refundable. And the only way she can get her money back is due to the fault of the landlord. Like the landlord would have to slip up on this deal or do something wrong or couldn't provide the property in a proper manner for her to say, okay, well, I want my money back. But she cannot get her money back if something goes wrong on her end. The way this is written from the perspective to protect the interests of the landlord, because the landlord is bringing this agreement to Olivia, not the other way around. So they are writing this agreement in terms of how you handle the payment in the best interest of the landlord. Because it clearly states right here that once you make that payment, good, bad, or indifferent, it's gone. So it's in your best interest to go ahead and try to get a loan at a bank and go ahead and see it through. Plus, if you don't, you still don't get your money back. That means if you don't go through with getting your loan and going through the process of purchasing this home, that $13,000 is gone. The only way you get that $13,000 back is as if the landlord did something wrong. But in this case, more than likely, this is a company they got all this stuff together. They ain't making no mistakes to lose no $13,000. They ain't making no mistakes to lose no $13,000. They gonna make sure all their I's are dotted and T's crossed to make sure they get the $13,000. I mean, you gotta look at it from their perspective. They wrote this agreement so they can't lose. They probably already knew that Olivia ain't got no good credit. So they wrote the agreement up where they can't lose. Well, okay, let her go ahead and put the $13,000 to see if she bought it. She did that part, so they got $13,000 off at the beginning. And then it can only get better if she gets approved. If she gets approved, okay, that's cool too. Now instead of $13,000, now we got the balance of the $179,000, whatever they're charging. But the worst case scenario is that they would have 13 and still had the 100% of the property. That's still not that bad. Hell, $13,000 is what, about 6 to 7 months worth of rent. So they got the $13,000 for Olivia, kicked her out. They sitting on 13, and then they still can go and rent it out on a month to month, 6 months or a year to somebody else, because they already got 13 in the pocket. Olivia got her lunch money took, y'all. Olivia got her lunch money took. These folks stood out on Interstate 10 waiting for her to come down the interstate from Texas with their hands out like, we got us one today, y'all. They already knew the game. Because they already knew that she probably has money, but she ain't got no good credit. So let her go ahead and fill out this paperwork. You do what you got to do, baby girl, and just give us the 13. Because at the end of the day, we can walk away with this 13 and we still Gucci. But Olivia, she shit out of luck. And I think what happened is she filled out that application and probably wasn't too truthful about it. She probably used old boy's salary to support that she had enough salary to pay rent. Somewhere down between them two, where he said, I ain't paying nothing. And now she by herself. And she can't go back and tell them, hey, I put down that my boyfriend or husband, whatever he is, was gonna pay half the rent, but he can't do it no more. And she can't get all jump and try to take them to court, because what could end up happening is they say, okay, well, let's go to court and let's review your paperwork. And so by jumping on them and taking them to court, trying to get them and trying to corner them on something, it's going to end up blowing back in her face. Because I got a feeling she done inflated her income with old boy's income, or told some type of lie where she can get the deal. And then they're going to end up finding out that she was participating in some fraud. So hey, that's just my opinion, man. But I think it's within reason. I think it's plausible. I think she filled out a bogus application. I think she really did put 13,000 down. I think she, old boy Gerard, I think he kind of left the situation and left her holding the bag. And now she don't know what she want to do, because she can't really get out jumping and take somebody to court, because that's gonna put her and that's gonna expose what she did. And from what I understand in terms of these real estate deals, that when you're in real estate, people don't play around. It ain't no, I can get my money back if I can try to do this and that, and maybe I can get my money back, or maybe I get 50% back. I ain't never heard of that. All I heard is once you go down, once you put the money down, it's 100% non-refundable. So hey, that's what I think done happened to Olivia. She done lost the money, and she all depressed because she can't get it back. And I think I heard somebody say, well, how she get, her U-Haul truck and she in another place? That ain't 13,000 worth of stuff, y'all. I mean, that's, a couple thousand here and there. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of dollars. It ain't no 13,000. I mean, 13,000 that's almost like a little Hyundai. You can do something with 13,000, but this little U-Haul stuff she doing, that's just, small money. I mean, you can lose $13 and still do what she's doing, is what I'm saying. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little short story about what I've done in a situation like this, and we're gonna see if we can apply. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's a short story time that I'm going to give to you that is relative to the matter at hand with Olivia. Now, I said I will only start my story times when I feel that donations were up to par, because to give my identity and personal stories only to expose myself to liabilities, big or small, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. As of right now, the level of participation in donation is moderate, in that I am still getting donations, but from the same select group of private donors. We need somebody to stand and step up, because this same group has been carrying the weight for some time now. And if you're really serious about supporting me and my efforts and funding new offerings like my story times, then you should consider donating whatever you can. Even if it's just $5, please consider donating as much as you can afford. Okay, around 2008, I had just gotten into a position financially where I could afford to invest in outside business ventures. I had liquid capital in the bank. I had access to more capital from relationships and banking, and I had years of project management experience. So I pursued going after a franchising opportunity with a company that we will call the Up Store for now, because I don't want to identify the real identity of the franchise. But for now, we'll call it the Up Store. And the Up Store is a competitor to the Postal Service, and they are located in mid-class to upper-class shopping centers. Okay? So you should know who the Up Store really is. Now, an average Up Store has a very unique business model. They will pretty much ship anything and offer above and beyond customer service. I'm sure you have noticed that when you go inside an Up Store, the store manager is always moving frantically, and seem to be a bit stressed out. That is the nature of that business. Well, I took that into consideration in pursuing buying a franchise of my own in Atlanta. In doing so, I had to put money down in escrow for purchase of the business in the same manner that LIV had to put money down for the purchase of the home. One of my requirements before closing was for me to receive full documentation of financial reports for my review. Now, they dragged their feet a little until they finally sent me year-end financials. Now, I already know that you can hide a lot when you just have an annual report that shows profit. I needed to see month-to-month financials to see what's really going on because monthly and weekly reports show any cash flow issues. So after I put money down in escrow, I finally got my monthly reports. And sure enough, they showed that a typical upstore loses money the entire year, but makes it up all in 2 months in November and December as the volume of packages multiply for the holidays. For the rest of the year, the store manager covers any losses with his own money and floats the operation until he can make good in those last 2 months. Now, as a single guy without a spouse to give me a financial cushion, and due to the fact that I don't like stress, I chose to back out of the deal. And I didn't know how to do it. So I took my paperwork to my attorney and he explained that in agreements you have to look for trigger points. You have to find actions in the agreement that can activate what you want to happen. Well, we found one. In the agreement, it stated that you can get 50% of your escrow money back if you make a good faith effort to seek funding and can't get approved. So I was advised by my attorney to say nothing about the financial stuff. Just play the funding part out, and you're going to get what you wish for with the same outcome. So I went to banks I knew were out of my league, and I got letters of disapproval. I even went to one of my homeboys who worked in banking and told him to deny me. He was confused, but I explained to him later what was going on. So my advice to LIV today is to review your lease to own agreement and see if there's some provision that allows you to get out of the deal with some or all of your money. I know that this situation is rare, but hopefully you can find that lease agreement trigger that will ultimately help you stop being that broke nigga. Ladies and gentlemen, this is EbonyMan 2K, and this concludes my presentation. I will leave a replay for those who came in late to the premiere, and I will now go into the chat room to answer any questions. All right, peace. This is EbonyMan 2K. We're about to go into our chat and music session. But first, if you would like to donate via Cash App, the Cash App ID is $EbMN2K. That's $EbMN2K. If you'd like to make a donation via PayPal, send it to paypal.me/EbMNTWOK. That's paypal.me/EbMNTWOK. And if you'd like to send it via Venmo, send it to @EbMN2K. That's @EbMN2K. Thanks. And one more thing. The Super Chat is on in the chat room, and it serves as another means of donating and expressing yourself. The Super Chat button is located under the chat window. Thanks. We're about to go into our chat and music session. If you're new to my channel, you should come by to the chat room and introduce yourself. I mean, if you're going to fix a plate and eat my food, you should at least stop by the grill and dap me up. Let me know you're having a good time. If you're watching this in playback, I recommend that you just keep doing what you're doing and just let the music rock out. Just let it rock out and relax, bro. All right, let's go.